And welcome to the show. It's the Rad Anime Show. You already know what it is. And I'm your host, Chris Cota, with the fucking Gary Oldman Fifth Element haircut today. And with us again is our good friend, Udi. Woo! And for the second time in a row, we got a brown dude and a dude who is not smoking anymore. So this is going to be a weird podcast when it's about smoking weed and talking about anime. But luckily, we have purchased beer.
Because we can't do a podcast without being slightly intoxicated.
Yeah. You need something to lube up the conversation, you know?
To keep it interesting, honestly.
Right. So today's topic is like, what world anime universe would you want to live in? Because there's so many fucking animes with so many weird and awesome premises. Like, why wouldn't you want to live there instead of this weird, boring Earth we got?
Honestly, anything's better than this old boring Earth that we got.
Especially nowadays, real scary.
Real scary shit.
We got fucking crazy Trump running around yelling shit, and it's just a terrifying place. And
people chopping off their dicks and turning them into vaginas.
People just chopping off their dicks. I watched this like Vice video about a rapper who was like high on fucking PCP and just cut his dick off.
Oh god.
And after he cut his dick off, he was still fine with it. He was like, yeah.
We should give him this is gonna be a low blow, but we should give him a Woman's Choice Award for that.
Right. It's fucked up.
I know. That's why I said this is gonna be a low blow, but we should give him a Woman's
See,
Choice.
the world's a weird place, so why not live somewhere that's weird and awesome? And
yes.
I don't know. There's a lot of weird choices I would make to live in other than this plane of existence.
Well, it depends for everybody. Everybody's got their choice because there's a million different animes, but they all cover general themes, whether it's technology, spirituality, or just ridiculousness, like Attack on Titan or something like that.
Right.
So, I know some of that favorite worlds I like to. My favorite worlds too that I would dive in are more based on as real as it can get.
Yeah.
I don't like to get too into the fantasy because I'm just too logical for that.
Yeah, you mean you're boring?
Yeah, I'm boring. I'm boring. I need structure. I need structure.
Right. I don't know. It's the opposite for me. Like, the more like ridiculous and not like current existence it is, the more I'd want to live there. Although there's a couple exceptions.
How exactly? All right, so
just
name
a couple.
So name your exception. How overboard is overboard on the fantasy realm?
How, like, one of the worlds that would be really cool to live in, which I don't know if it's super overboard, but I would go for Tenchi Muyo War in Geminar. If you haven't seen that, it's basically Tenchi Muyo, but they got like these giant mechs and they live on these floating countries on this weird planet. And there's like giant robot fighting. There's like harem anime aspects where you got all these ladies going after you because you're so awesome.
Oh shit!
And it's a whole bunch of things molded together. And then like the exception to and on the opposite end of that, one of the exceptions to my liking really weird fantastical things is what is that anime called? It's another Tenchi Muyo one. It's the first season where he's just on Earth being a regular dude.
Yes.
And nothing really happens to him. Maybe he goes into space a few times.
Maybe he goes into space.
Other than that, like, it's just normal shit. Like, oh, I gotta run and do this shit, but then I got these crazy fucking people fucking with me, like these crazy chicks. But they're all, like, super cool in some certain way.
Okay, so that's definitely not overboard, though. That's on the lower end.
Yeah, that's, like, that's weird. But most of the ones I'd want to be is, like, I'd want to live in some crazy-ass world that's not even, like, ours. Like, post-apocalyptic settings, like fucking Afro Samurai.
Oh man,
that
dude.
would be dope.
You know what's crazy? I'm glad you brought up Afro Samurai. Believe it or not, people, even though it's a very American-made thing, very anime. Very anime.
I don't think it's full-on American. I know it was one of the first animes to get debuted in America first. Because Spike had, like, bought the rights to it.
Yeah, but
I'm pretty sure a Japanese dude, like, made it up and stuff, if I remember correctly.
Okay, I might be wrong on that one. But very American. It's still a very American choice.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you can't get more American than Sam Jackson yelling at you all the time.
Two different versions of Sam Jackson.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
You get, like, the Afro fucking version of him where he's, like, just badass quiet dude, and then you get the ridiculous ninja one of him where he's, like, full force, like, funny Samuel Jackson,
yes.
just talking shit to everybody.
Yes.
But the setting in that's really cool, because it's, like, if you turned the grittiness up on on Samurai Jack, like, old
that would
school
be
Samurai,
Afro. That would be Afro.
That would be Afro Samurai.
Okay, that's another good one. A Samurai Jack realm. That would be
Yeah,
cool
a
to
nice
live in.
post-apocalyptic wasteland where you're like a samurai, but you can end up fighting a robot with a laser sword or a fucking crazy ass monster. Like that would be fun because you get all kinds of options on like this world. You could be a bounty hunter and just roam the wastelands, taking care of people's problems.
Bounty hunter.
Or you could be a fucking raider and just murder everything and do whatever the fuck you want. Like that would be a cool world. And you got all the cool like technology merging with like Japanese culture, which is like some shit I'm totally into.
Any anime that does a scenario where it's almost like a choose your own adventure type thing is always the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cowboy Bebop, how they just go from planet to planet.
Oh, that'd be such a cool. See, another one living in that kind of universe.
In universe, yes, Cowboy Bebop. The reason I would pick Cowboy Bebop is mostly for that. Is if you've never watched Cowboy Bebop, not much of a story. Every episode it's its own adventure.
But they're all awesome.
Yes, very, very, very awesome. If you ever like a show like Firefly, for those of you guys that aren't into anime, it's like that. It's like it's got the ragtag group of team, cast members all piled up in a ship trying to get along together, get into crazy adventures and stuff. And I think that's what appeals to me is like a place where you can really explore a lot of stuff. Like there's Gundam, there's oh man, there was another one that was like Gundam. Which one was it called? It was called like Robotech.
Yeah, Robotech.
Robotech.
I liked Robotech a little more than Gundam because they had transforming fighters.
Yes.
And their like fighters would go from jet to a half jet robot to full on like giant robot and shit, and that was so cool.
Oh yes.
I remember playing the game on PS2 as well, and I even have like the old like seasons from the 70s like on DVD somewhere. It's really cheesy, but that season's still pretty good.
It just depends on your style because One Piece, I'd like to live in the universe of One Piece. Devil fruit, where you could just eat a devil fruit and get a ridiculous enhancement to your body.
That's cool. See, I don't know much about One Piece, but what I do know is I like pirates and like piratey shit, and that's what that shit's all about. So
it's all about pirates.
I'd be okay with it. Like, I've just never watched the show, so I don't really know how cool that universe would be.
I wouldn't live in Naruto's universe. I know there's a lot of Naruto fans out there, but I just can't. I can't do it.
They're not ninjas, man.
They're not
That's why
ninjas.
I couldn't do it. They're not ninjas.
They're not. If you know what a ninja is, they're not what they are. They're martial artists.
Right.
They're kung fu artists.
Yeah, I don't know, but it still is a kid's shonen, like a shonen show, so it's like it's got to be like that. Like I don't think they've made a really realistic ninja like anime. Like there's one called Basilisk, which is pretty good.
Well, Samurai Champloo. Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah, that's fucking.
Those aren't
amazing.
ninjas because I literally said the name and the title and it says samurai.
Yeah.
But
even though like technically there's not a lot of samurais in Samurai Champloo.
What are you talking? This is the two samurais.
Well, technically, Mugen isn't really a samurai. He's like a swordsman from a region in Japan that's like a prison colony, basically.
Yeah, but the other one is a Ronin. Is a Ronin, which is directly a samurai without a master. So
yeah, I guess.
Samurais. I'm just saying. It just really depends. You can pick any world. You could go from the most ridiculous fantasy to the most realistic thing. Mm-hmm. But Chris has a favorite, and I know I don't like it, but he has one that I know he would love to live in.
Well, it's not even like it would be awesome to live in as a kid. Like when you're a kid, the best world to live in would be like the Pokemon universe. Because think about it, it's like you're like 10 years old or however old Ash was. I think he was 10, and they're like, hey, go off into the fucking world and go on this crazy adventure. You don't need parents or nothing like that. That would just be the coolest thing as a kid.
From that perspective, yes. If a lot of people know about Pokemon, but they don't really understand the theme, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories behind it. A lot of people think that it is a post-apocalyptic world run by kids.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just run by irresponsible people because if you think about it, like it's like Lord of the Flies with like dog fighting. Because like they just send all these kids out in the world and it's kind of their own little society anyways because everything's based off of Pokemon. Even the adults are shitty. Like there's no parents or there's no like dads in Pokemon land. Like it seems like they all just kind of are like, I'm gonna be a Pokemon master, and they just fuck off and do Pokemon shit. Yeah. And that's all they do.
Oh yeah.
They got a lady pregnant and they're like, all right, time to go off on another Pokemon adventure because I never did anything adult in my life.
Exactly. And all that, the lack of responsibility kind of appeals to me.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Because it's like, dude, even as an adult, you're like, if you're a badass Pokemon trainer as a kid, as an adult, you don't have to do Pokemon shit.
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, there are people with regular jobs in the Pokemon universe, but they don't seem all that cool, and they don't show them a lot, and it's just boring shit.
Nobody cares.
And
about
those are the
people.
lame asses who didn't like decide to go on an adventure when they were 10. Like, that seems totally illogical to me. That they'd be like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't want to roll around with a cool monster companion. I'm gonna stay here, and then I'm gonna become an accountant."
Well, I guess what would be cool about the Pokemon world would be probably when this is gonna be real messed up. But whenever you do get to a certain point where you're just such a badass Pokemon trainer that you own your own gym, I mean an entire building dedicated to worship your ass.
You do get that. Like,
you do get that. If you become the best, you get an entire building dedicated to you. What more could you want?
Yeah, right.
Our president has that.
Everything would be cooler in Pokemon World. Like, even like war. Like, imagine like, because you heard that like conspiracy thing, or not conspiracy, but it's that like story about the Great Pokemon War.
Yeah.
Like in the first game when you talk to Surge and he's like, "Let your Pokemon save my life during the war."
Yeah.
I assume he sounds like that. I assume he sounds like a hick.
I guess I don't give Pokemon enough respect because it actually started as a video game rather than an anime.
Yeah.
So I guess, I got to give it some mad respect to that because...
But to be fair, when it comes to shows, I definitely like Digimon over Pokemon, like, hands down.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, speaking of 10-year-old kids that go on adventures, if I had to choose in that little confined space, it would be Digimon over Pokemon. Mostly because how Chris so eloquently put it, I like the freedom the Digimon have when they fight because they're not getting told what to do. Pokemon, like Chris said, is just like dog fighting. You get a little monster in a ball and you're like, "Sick 'em, boy." It's like, and you tell them what to do and they fight each other. Horrible. But the Digimon, they don't, man. And they have the cool evolutions.
Yeah, and they don't have to stay that evolution. They go back to the little cute form when they're done.
Exactly.
And they can talk. You don't have to live with their fucking constantly saying their fucking name and that's it. You know what the fuck they need and what they're doing.
Look at that. Imagine that. Imagine that. Why were the Pokeballs invented? Because they put themselves in a hole. It's like, what happens when Charmander turns into Charizard? It's not like Ash can just be walking around with a giant dragon all the time.
Right.
Well, Digimon doesn't need Pokeballs because of that. It turns back into the cute, cuddly Gabumon or
Agumon.
Agumon, yeah.
And you get cool shit like fucking Digi-Armor and shit like that, and Digi-Fusions.
The Digivices. Like, come on, man.
You get way cooler shit. Like,
they had texting devices made cool before they were even out. And
you could get like, and when you were a kid, you get the little Digimon like Tamagotchi fucking pets. You remember those?
Oh yeah.
And you could like train up your fucking Digimon, and then you like click them together and you fight them. I remember doing that shit.
Actually, I do remember that too. Yeah. Now, that
was the best Digimon game they've ever come out with.
No. Did you ever play Royal Rumble? Digimon Royal Rumble?
No.
So that was a game for the PlayStation 2, and that one is.
I feel like I should have played that one, man.
Or PlayStation 1. 1 or 2, I don't remember. Don't quote me on that, but it's called Digimon Royal Rumble, and it covers the first 2 seasons. So it'll have all the Digimon, and those are the best seasons, the first 2. So
is it that fighter?
It's a fighter.
Oh, for sure. Then I seen that.
It's like Super Smash, but with Digimon, and it's the coolest thing ever because when you start figuring things out, they kind of did it like Mortal Kombat. If you can get the button configurations right, instead of doing a fatality, you can evolve the character, and then you have like Metal Garurumon, or you have like whatever, Metal Greymon or whatever, and then you start kicking ass.
To be fair, I have been playing that Digimon. What is it? Digital Sleuth.
I don't.
It's for PS4, and it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of plays like Persona, except you don't have to do all that like social link, like dating sim stuff. Even though I love that part of Persona, and I want to pick up Persona 5.
My friend has Persona 5. It's actually pretty good.
I want to play it so bad. But yeah, that one's pretty fun, and it's like a Digimon kind of like you get to do battles, battle arena stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a nice like RPG game to play.
Well,
But fuck, I don't know, living in the Digimon universe would be, I don't know, you get the digital world and then it's back to normal ass, like, Earth.
I couldn't do the digital world. Have you guys ever watched Digimon? They put on some pretty fucked shit, like the vampire thing that tries to kill everybody, or the puppet master. Oh my god!
Or even like all the fucking bad guys in Digimon look badass.
Yeah,
too.
all
like Devimon and shit.
Yeah, definitely, man. All those bad guys from the Digimon universe, man. Mm-hmm. That's kind of why I would not. That's why I don't want to do over the top if I pick an anime to live in, because that shit is scary to me.
Yeah.
Even though it's just a cartoon, it's scary to me.
Well, that's if you're just a regular ass dude. Like, this is assuming like you want to live in that universe. Like, are you gonna be the badass dude, or you just want to be a regular ass?
Well, let me put it to you this way: in season 2, when Black Metal Greymon came out, I was like in love with that one, and he's an evil character. And
Skull Greymon, that was another one. That
oh
was super
yeah,
dope.
Skull Greymon, yeah. When Greymon gets too angry, or what is it that he does? He can't.
Yeah, they're trying to like digivolve him, but then he's like super mad when he does it.
Yeah, so he turns into a giant
like
skeleton.
And he's got that big like missile with a face on it in its back. It fucking looks like the sword from Soul Calibur.
Oh,
like it's got like meat and metal like kind of combined. It's really dope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
the monster designs in Digimon are a lot better too, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
That and Yu-Gi-Oh! They got monster designs way over the top of fucking...
do you know what's funny that you brought up Yu-Gi-Oh? Because you know what? I would pick that one. I would live in that one.
Really? The just card dueling?
Well,
they get magic. The magic beasts come out of the cards, which is...
It's okay, come on, think about it. I mean, like...
That is pretty cool.
Like,
yeah.
Like, if they could just remove the intensity... And that's just real world, where like how we watch the Super Bowl, like that's our version of the Olympic Games or whatever in that world. Mm-hmm. If we could just limit to that, yeah, I'd do that, because I would totally just try to be the best, you know. But you know, if there was evil forces trying to take over the world with a card dueling game, that'd be pretty lame.
Yeah.
Lame.
But if they could do it somehow, like, because the cards are magic, then that brings it to that over the top that you wouldn't like, because they're like going to destroy the earth with a Egyptian god or something.
Well, here's my problem with it. I guess it would be cool up until, because I've already seen what this world would look like. Every time I went, when I was in high school and I would walk around at lunch and run into random classes, there would be random Magic the Gathering battles.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the world would look like if we all lived in Yu-Gi-Oh! It wouldn't be as cool as we think. It'd be more isolated, more like in dingy basements, and...
But in that world, it's like the mainstream, like, greatest thing ever, so... It'd be like the iPhone.
It'd be like the iPhone. I don't know.
So then everybody would be into it, and it'd be everywhere, and you'd probably hate it.
I would probably, I am a hater.
You would be like, fuck this world. Why did I choose this world?
Why can't I live in a world where there's a president named Trump?
But while we're on the subject of like battling like kind of universes, there's this show called Buso Shinki, and it's a really cool show. Basically, it's in a world where like they have invented like tiny like robotics, and they make these like, it's basically little hot chicks who are like these toys, but they wear like these mech suits, and you battle them like Pokemon in like these small arenas.
Oh my god.
And there's like different types, like some of them like turn into motorcycles, other ones have like jet powers, other ones are like run around shit. It's like the battling's really cool, and it's like small scale, like what is it called, Little Battlers something. That's like a kids show. It's kind of like that premise, but a little more like what's the term, a little more weeaboo-ish, since it's little like hot girls in skimpy outfits that like they're alive and they're sentient, so they act like people because they have like super good AI, so they like live in this dude's house and they cook him breakfast and shit.
Oh, that sounds horrible. In a weird, sick way.
It does. Dude, the hijinks. Yeah, the guy seems like he's annoyed a lot of the times, because you got these little like a group of little like women with like rocket packs and shit shooting missiles in your house.
Well, okay, so
that would be a cool world to live in, because you get the battling aspect, and then you get like cool little robots.
Okay, there's an anime that I remember about that is on that same subject of, not exact, because it's toned down. So it's the same theme, where you have like a caretaker taking care of an augmented girl. So the name of this anime is called Trigger Girls, and it's a very short anime. It's only
I haven't seen that.
It's only like 10 episodes, 12 episodes per season, and there's only like 3 seasons out right now, or that might have been the whole series if I remember right. Nothing too intense, but the concept of it is really cool. A secret organization, young girls, and they are young. They have to be like, they're like between 12 and 17. Like the oldest one is like 21 in the series, and that's how old they stay forever. Because they save them, they're close to death. It's like Ghost in the Shell type thing, but not quite, because they actually save the body, and then they
Trigger
Trigger Girls.
Because I've seen one called Gun Girls.
It might be Gunslinger Girls or something.
Gunslinger Girls.
Gunslinger Girls.
That's what it was called.
Gunslinger Girls. Sorry.
I seen the first season of that actually.
Yes, and they take care of the bodies, and then they augment them with all cybernetic stuff, but you know they have like a caretaker, and like I like that because the caretaker, like, so it's a like 4 different girls they have in the task force, and each one has a caretaker.
For sure, and I've seen it, and it kind of gives you that creepy Lolita vibe.
Yes, it gives you the creepy vibe, but I like it because that does seem realistic, and who doesn't want to be a super badass assassin? Because that's what they are. They're super badass assassins for the government. And, I mean, it's cool. I mean, like, I would personally want to be a caretaker than a trigger girl. I mean, a gunslinger girl, but...
Well, that, and you'd have to be a girl. And
that
you're already
too.
a dude, so that would be kind of hard.
Yeah, so I would choose to be a caretaker, but, you know, I mean, that would be cool just to, like... I mean, come on, how cool would that be? Just to always hang out with like a robot person, and then knowing that like at any moment she could snap the Brayton's neck off anyone, that'd be dope.
That'd be pretty cool.
You're just like, hey, he's like, hey, meet my friend Jenna. She went to high school with me, and she's a robot now. Come on, that's just great. That's
right. Another cool, and like, even though it's not super normal, but you ever seen Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple? Well, this universe would be cool because and I'd want to be like the main dude in this universe just because he's the dude who like gets all the cool shit. But basically, it's like
okay. Time out. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen. As he's talking about this, he wants to be the best, coolest. Okay.
Well, it's just you're the main dude in this universe, because it doesn't work any other way. Because it's basically like Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple is about like a shitty kid who's like a coward and stuff like that, and he ends up becoming like a super badass martial artist. So it's like normal Japan. So not being the main dude, you're just like a shitty normal guy walking around town.
Oh shit. That's true. All right, remember, if you pick an anime, make sure you're the main character. Otherwise, you're basically cannon fodder.
Most animes, you gotta be the main dude.
Guy, or you're fucked. Yeah. Like the cabbage guy from The Last Airbender. Oh my god, the best running skit ever.
He's got the worst run. Yeah. Like, that guy just has shit luck. Everywhere he goes, his cabbages get ruined.
If you don't pick an anime world and run with it hard, I mean, like really run with it hard, you're gonna end up being the cabbage guy.
Yeah, cut to a clip.
So pick your world very wisely. See, like I said, I like realism. So like he has his little Gundam right there. Gundams. That's what I want to do.
Dude, anywhere with giant robots.
Anything with giant robots. Oh, there you go. Anything. We've all seen Transformers. We all know we want to be Mark Wahlberg and Megan Fox.
Except they don't get to like pilot a robot. They just hang out with them and shit. That's kind of fucking boring.
Okay, so there you go. That's where you get to... I mean, can you imagine if you could climb on board Optimus Prime?
And make him do all the shit?
Yeah.
That would be rad.
That would be
But with
cool.
Gundams, because they got cooler weapons and cooler designs.
And not only that, but... So like my favorite version of Gundam is actually called G Gundam. It's actually kind of like that anime you were talking about where they live in like floaty cities, floaty colonies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they use Earth as a battleground every year. So all the countries send a Gundam down to Earth and they battle it out in a giant Royal Rumble. And the last Gundam standing gets to control the space colonies for a year.
That's cool. That's like kind of Hunger Gamesy. I haven't seen G Gundam.
That sounds pretty cool.
Damn, Hunger Games stole so much shit.
Yes.
God
damn. Every time we talk about something, it always goes back to the Hunger Games.
Did we talk about the Hunger Games last time we were watching?
No, we haven't. But
in previous conversations,
we always talk about the damn Hunger Games because everything's the Hunger Games nowadays.
They stole so much shit from a bunch of different shit. Now that I think about it, fucking Hunger Games, dude.
Yes,
that lady's a plagiarist.
Yes. Where's the lawsuit on that one?
Have you seen the previews for that movie called The Belko Experiment?
Yeah,
which is Battle Royale, but in a corporate setting.
Yes,
fucking
exactly.
I ain't gonna see it.
Well, giant robots would be the best thing. That specific G Gundam series would be my favorite one.
Fuck, is that the one where they like wear the suits and they fucking pilot?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, that one is dope.
Yes. So if you've ever seen Gundam,
episodes.
This one's the most original version of it, I think, because in every other Gundam, the pilots are like basically like piloting almost jet fighters. They got like pulleys and levers and buttons. But on this one, they wear like this mechanized rubber suit inside, and
It's like a mocap suit.
like a motion capture suit.
Yeah.
And then that way, every move they do, the Gundam does. It's so.
And the
dope.
main dude's got like Kamehameha blast with his shit because
Yeah.
his Gundam's got cannons in its
Oh,
hands.
exactly.
And shit.
That's what's
Fucking
really cool.
dope.
It's gonna be the closest thing that
Yeah.
like if the future technology got to that point, it'd be the closest to feeling like Dragon Ball Z ever.
Right.
Because yeah. But if I had to pick one, a Gundam though, I would pick it in this setting, but I would pick Gundam Wing. And not the Gundam Wing from the series, Gundam Wing from Endless Waltz.
Gundam Zero.
Gundam Zero, yeah.
With the big, like, fucking cool wings.
With the real wings.
That's my favorite fucking Gundam.
That's
like,
everybody's favorite Gundam.
Like, my buddy used to have, in high school, he had a shirt with that exact Gundam on it. And I'm like, dude, I want to steal that shirt so bad just because that's one of the coolest designs ever. And
I have 2 Gundam Wings, one like that's a build one, and then I have a battle scarred one.
Oh, that's dope.
So like he like on his wing, he's got 2 giant cannon holes on it, and then like it's all messed up, dude.
My favorite Gundam, well, I have 2. It's either Epion, which is in Endless Waltz. It's the purple one with the heated whip chain that turns into a jet.
Yes.
That one's super dope. Or Heavy Arms.
Okay.
1 or 2. Either version of Heavy Arms is
Yes.
fucking amazing. I like Heavy Arms 2 more, but still, either one is one of my favorites. Just because it's got so many guns and it's like chest opens up and missiles shoot at it everywhere. It's just awesome.
Oh yeah. I guess what really makes Gundam appealing to me, it's like because of the technology, the space travel, but the Gundam overall, they're like giant knights, dude.
Yeah.
They're like giant knights, and they get the coolest armor, the sickest of weapons.
Right. And not only do you get a cool like robot in that universe, you get to travel space and see other planets.
Yes.
And all kinds of shit. Like that would be like
If you want to be a bounty hunter, you can.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of shit.
Yes. Because the endless possibilities on the storylines that they've done with that one. They haven't come out with a recent Gundam, have they?
Oh yeah, the last one is Iron Blooded Orphans. That's the one that Gundam's from, and that's the season I'm currently watching. And yeah, Iron Blooded Orphans is fucking sick, dude. Like the battles in there are so amazing, and the art's really good, and the story's really cool. And the main fucking character, well, yeah, the main dude Mikazuki, I think his name is, but he's super badass. He's fucking and it's like ragtag team of like pretty much orphans running around like through space protecting this lady. It's a really good show.
Those are always the best type of enemies, ragtag teams of orphans.
Well, I'm from like the age of like Red Dawn and shit like that. Like so ragtag people, like that's what I gravitate
I might not be as
towards, too.
he's not that much older than me, but I know Red Dawn. I know Red Dawn.
Well,
Come
I know
on.
it because I watch a lot of cable and my parents give a fuck what I watch. So it's more of a what I got to see thing as opposed to an age.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But Red Dawn's really good. Not the new one with Chris Hemsworth.
No,
the older
old
one.
school.
With Charlie Sheen.
P. Swayze. Yeah.
Woo!
That girl from Dirty Dancing.
Oh yeah, dude.
I forget her name.
Lots of good and memorable lines in that movie too, and moments too.
Wolverine, sure. And the ending's so good. Like even though like a lot of them die.
Oh yeah,
pretty much all of them die.
Yeah.
Two of them get away. Like the one kid and that girl.
The only ones that get away.
And not the girl from Dirty Dancing. She dies in like the middle of a field somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is lame because I liked her. I was like, I want her to live. She's the badass one. She ends up shooting a bunch of people.
Oh yeah, man. Now I wanted the quiet one that ended up taking out the Hind D at the end. Yeah. He got all pissed and he just was like.
Or the crazy kid who took on the helicopter. Like
yeah, that's the kid. That's the kid. The Hind D. He's the one
who's like taking scalps and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But,
those type of settings are the best. Yeah. Oh, a setting like that would be like ragtag types of team would be like the Trigun setting.
Trigun, dude, that's post-apocalyptic settings. That's one of my favorite ones.
Trigun is really good. The only Trigun.
Trigun.
I've heard different versions.
I've always heard Trigun.
I picked up Trigun from somebody else.
Yeah.
Because I used to call it Trigun, and then I stuck with Trigun.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, anyways, I like it all the way through except for Vash, who is the main character.
You don't like Vash?
Okay, so the reason I don't like that...
He's like the Mr. Magoo of anime. It's amazing.
That's the point, is that...
I love that shit.
Okay, well, before I watched Trigun, man, someone told me about it, and they're like, oh yeah, and then Vash and stuff, and...
Well, you gotta remember,
I saw still shots of him, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then he ends up being like that, a giant kind of goofball.
No, but you gotta remember, all of that is on purpose, though.
I know.
Like, that's what's so cool. Like... He's so badass. He can look like he's doing like
dumb
the worst,
shit,
and he just murders everyone.
But it's a good anime, and I like it because it does spaghetti western.
Yeah, that's what I like.
If I had to pick a anime world,
Cowboy Bebop does spaghetti good too.
That's why I picked those realism worlds, because I like spaghetti westerns. I'm a huge Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez fan. So I like those, you know, those moments where there's going to be standoffs, or someone like Vash has to do something pretty ingenious to get out of the situation. But more importantly than not, the 6-shooters.
Yeah.
The 6-shooters that Vash has are fucking dope.
I just like post-apocalyptic settings where you can, like, if it's like Mad Max or like something like that. Like one of the universe that I'd like to live in is an anime called Desert Punk.
I've seen Desert Punk.
Yeah, it's a really hilarious anime. I talk about it a lot on this podcast.
It's
one of my fucking favorites.
I've only seen I've heard of it, and I've only seen the first episode.
Oh, there's so many other episodes.
I know, but
you need to watch it.
I need to.
English,
but Desert Punk is
English dub.
Seen it. English dub is really good.
Yeah, don't watch the sub because the jokes in the English dub are fucking hilarious.
Okay, I'll duly noted. Second, here's another world I would live in. Here's my over the top one: Dragon Ball Z. Everybody knows that.
Dude, fuck yeah! I would want to live in Dragon Ball as opposed to Dragon Ball Z. And,
okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay,
because you still get like the cool like rolling around adventure shit, and like you get the whole like Red Ribbon Army thing, so you can like join a resistance group, and like at that point in time, anybody can be like super badass. Like dudes like Tien and Yamcha, those were main character
when
like
they
badass
introduced
dudes.
When they first introduced Piccolo, oh my god,
Evil King Piccolo when he's all old looking before he spits out his baby.
Yes, the most epic thing that. Piccolo's my favorite character of all time because he is one of the longest enduring characters.
Dude, I like Piccolo. He kind of like goes from being a super badass character, just being like normal ass dude, to being super badass again. Like when he becomes the Namek and the
super Namek.
Yeah, dude, that was like fuck yeah, Piccolo's awesome again.
And then he absorbs King Kai or Kami,
yeah.
not Kai.
And then he becomes
King
like
Kami,
whatever that is.
Yeah. I loved, but so everybody could be a badass in Dragon Ball. That's why.
Yeah. And it seems a little more fun. Like, you see a lot of, like, dogman fucking people walking around. There's, like, funny-ass shit happening everywhere.
Okay.
It's a little more lighthearted and goofy. You have more fun. In Dragon Ball, you're like, fuck, I'm Krillin. I'm gonna die every fucking time a guy shows up to do anything.
Oh, yeah,
You're just gonna get murked, and Goku's the only hope. The only plus side is you get resurrected every time, most of the time.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true.
Because, like, in Dragon Ball Z, you're fucked. No matter who you are, you're fucked if you're not Goku.
Well, you're not Vegeta.
Vegeta helps.
But no, the thing is, you gotta understand, by now, Vegeta's... even though he's always supposedly just behind Goku, if Vegeta wasn't around, Goku wouldn't do as much.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But every time, when it matters, Goku's the one who gets it done, though. Like every time, like even when he's like spent from like he's like, oh, I can't even go Super Saiyan anymore. I just fell out of 3. He gets up and he throws a fucking spirit bomb on a motherfucker and he like wins the day and shit. Like every time.
Okay. I would do,
but it's always a group effort because like he's got to get people to like raise their hands for the spirit ball, or he's got to get a fucking Hercule to ask like the Earth,
or they got to wait for him to arrive. In every
there's always
time.
Like. He'll be here soon, and then
the
10
bad guys,
episodes later.
and the bad guys always win. Or they could win, but
they don't. It's true.
Yeah. Well, I like it just because of that whole. It's the only. No one's been able to redo Dragon Ball concept, because if you watch Dragon Ball, they'll start you and they'll explain to you about chi and what the Kamehameha.
It's more about martial arts.
It's more about martial arts, and then they Kamehameha wave, and then Dragon Ball Z. No one's really been able to duplicate the intensity of the battles that Dragon Ball Z. And when I mean the intensity, not the 30 minutes of talking. I'm talking about when they actually start throwing down.
Yeah.
Because we've never. I mean, me as a kid, and still to this day, I watched a bunch of animes that do like superpowers, and nothing's has compared to like a father-son Kamehameha or a Gallic.
Well, those moments,
yeah, like those moments where like the first time Vegeta and Goku fight each other, the Gallic gun versus the Kamehameha wave on Kaioken times 10.
Or even like just the writing in it, like when Vegeta dies on Namek, when like Frieza kills him, and he's like telling Goku
about the Super
about
Saiyan
Planet Namek and all
the
that stuff.
Planet Vegeta
and he's
and the
like,
Super
"Don't
Saiyan."
fucking be a bitch and shit. You're a fucking Saiyan." That's a really hardcore moment. Like that's a really emotional moment. Like if you watch that shit.
That's my favorite villain is the Frieza saga.
Yeah.
Because before then, I mean, like you didn't know where they were gonna go with Goku, you know, and then that's when they start putting in the lore of Planet Vegeta and Super Saiyans and just basically putting in that lore that would take.
Yeah, they added space to it. That's another thing about Dragon Ball.
Yes, they added space to it.
Bigger,
that always
bigger scale.
They always up the thing. It's a lot better than Naruto.
Yeah. And like the reason I like Dragon Ball is because you could be a regular dude and still be cool. Like you could train and go on your own adventures, but at the same time, it'd also be badass to be like the main dude because you're fucking Kid Goku running around. Your best friend's the richest lady on the planet.
Oh
like,
yeah,
all kinds of shit. Like
oh my god, that first episode where he cops a peep at Bulma's.
There's a lot of that. Like when she shows her shit to
Yamcha Yamcha, she shows it to Yamcha. She's a hoe.
Nah, she's a smart chick. She's like Junko from Desert Punk.
Junko,
she uses her sexiness on all the stupid ass guys to
Yeah.
get what she wants, and it always fucking works.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why if I watch Desert Punk and like somebody's like, "Oh, that's a sexist anime," because it's always about boobs. Like, dude, the most like powerful person in that show is Junko.
Junko, yeah.
Because like no matter who's the fucking guy, like no matter who it is. Even some chick, she can use her boobies or her sexuality to like make them do what she wants, and she knows it.
Okay. What about the universe that One Punch Man lives in?
Well, that is another universe where anyone can technically become a hero.
That's what I'm saying. I was
because
like, would you do that?
You could be a low rank Moomin rider, just riding a bike.
Well, on that one, I was about to say, I was like, if he could do anyone could do that regiment, the 3 years.
If you could just live in that world and become One Punch Man the same way he did.
Yeah, I would do that all day.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to knock people out in one punch. Not that it's impossible in this world, but
knock anything out like a giant spaceman who has Dragon Ball Z powers.
Oh hell yeah, dude. Just be like, pah.
That's just a good show. Like the universe is still kind of like, if you're not a superhero, then you're kind of left at the mercy of like giant city battles and being attacked by monsters.
Yes.
And that's no fun.
That's never no fun. Like
just like Attack on Titan, if you're not in the group of those I don't know what they're called, but the main homies who fight the fucking Titans.
Okay, so like he's speaking of Attack on Titan, that's a world I wouldn't live in. Fuck that.
That's too scary.
Hell yeah, dude. Are you kidding me, man? I was like, it's not as scary as like, gee, I don't know, like probably what's it called, Soul Eater, because Soul Eater is kind of scary because it has a lot of demonic stuff into it, but the Attack on Titan concept, it's so creepy, dude. To just giant things walking around eating us, that would just suck, dude. That would suck so bad. But
just having the food chain flip on you.
Oh my god!
And all of a sudden you're like for real, like not on top anymore. Because like lions and shit'll eat us, but there's not lions everywhere, so we're not like in fear of fucking lions or wolves or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, I know.
But giant man monsters eating us, yeah, that's fucking horrifying. Because you can't stop a giant man monster.
Yeah, no.
From what I've seen, clips of the show that I've seen, you can barely stop them with the cool like jet thingies they got and badass swords.
Yep, that is very true, man.
It's terrifying.
But I would not live in that one, but I would. It's scarier than Soul Eater, but I would do Soul Eater.
Soul Eater would be cool though. Like as long as you get into the Meister Academy, and you get paired up with a cool weapon, then yeah, man. Or a cool person.
If you've never seen Soul Eater, it's like
then you should just watch it
because it's really good.
Yeah.
All around, it's one of those concepts that's like very revolutionary. You get paired up with like a spirit, and you get to like, and that spirit will channel through you, and you can either get.
I thought it was just a person. Like you have Meisters, and then you have like the people who turn into weapons.
Well, like you get paired up with the people that turn into weapons. Those are like they're like semi spirits or something like that. Because like you can because they can like mash them into weapons and shit.
I just assumed
like I've seen that like because that on one of the episodes like the main character she has a scythe and she just Maka she just smacks her dude into the weapon and they start fighting. That's I don't know. That concept's pretty cool. I like. But spirit those kind of spirit things like Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
He's never seen Full Metal Alchemist. I keep telling him he needs to watch it.
I've seen some episodes. I don't know anything about it.
It's a really good show. That's that's probably one of my top ones. If I couldn't do Gundam, I would do Full Metal Alchemist. And just because of the simple fact that the concept is really cool. A type of magic where if you know what the definition of alchemy is that you master a type of magic where you can create things from other things. So like you can create a sword from the stuff around you. Yeah. But that's the thing though. Like only the best can start doing alchemy with metal or creating metal things, because that's like the super top of the top. Yeah, for sure. So like someone could make a rock out of all the stuff from here, right? They'll make a rock, but they wouldn't be able to make someone metal, and that's what the main character does.
Because he's got the cool robot.
He's got the cool robot armor,
and he turned his little brother into like a suit of armor. I remember that because I've seen a little bit of it.
But it's really cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to just do this? I mean, seriously, like you grab your finger, a magic spell. Have you ever seen Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
That same concept where they have rings and stuff. They do that. They just like draw on the ground. A light shows up, and then a sword.
For sure.
Come on, that would be dope. You would freak everybody. Someone was like, "Let's step outside. Let's fight." All right.
Well, if you're living in this world, then there's a potential that person is a magic man.
Damn it! I keep forgetting this. Yeah, we're not bringing it to this world.
No, you're living in that place.
I keep forgetting that. Just
life would be easier if I could just pull a sword out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so maybe I might get my ass kicked in this universe, but it's still super cool. I mean, that goes beyond saying, man.
Right.
Wonder, do comic book universes count?
I don't see why not. We talk about most shit on here anyways, so like we get off topic. Who gives a shit?
Okay, if I had to pick a universe, because there's only two as far as comic books that I'm concerned, either DC or Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel, fuck DC.
Yeah.
Yes, and then specifically, what sector of the Marvel universe? Mephistopheles' realm. I want to be fucking Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Come on, man. And it doesn't always have to be a chopper. As long as it's a motorcycle that he gets to ride around at 200 miles per hour and a chain to whoop bitches in the place. That's the one I want. Yeah. That's the quadrant I would live in the Marvel universe.
For sure. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. Like, I like some of the stuff, and there's things I like about Marvel that I like better than DC, but there's things I like about DC that I
So you would pick DC?
It depends. Like, when it comes to, like, living in a universe, if you want to be, like, a Ghost Rider type guy, like, fucking, like the Watchmen's universe would be cool. Because it's still pretty regular, but you get, like, that gritty vigilante superhero. And I'd want to have, like, Dr. Manhattan powers. I just want to be the most powerful being in the world so I can just walk around and let my blue dick swing. Not have to wear fucking pants.
Oh, shit.
Go on chill on Mars and shit.
I won't lie. When I watch Watchmen, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Yeah. And I'm straight, dude. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that was it's not even like that in the comic books. Like, his dick isn't in the comic books, if I remember correctly. He wears like a black, like, thongy thing. And he rolls around in that. And, like, when he's not wearing it and he's, like, rolling dick out, they, like, do the comic book thing where they shadow his dick out. Because even in a very mature comic book, like fucking Alan Moore's Watchmen, they're still like, I don't think people want to see a dick the whole fucking thing. Even though there's a few comic books with a lot of dicks in it.
See, he picked a good universe because that is smart, the DC, because that one's based on more darkness. DC does tend to have a darker tones than Marvel will ever have.
The thing I like about DC is they got better villains and, like, better stories in that regard.
They have depth to their story. Yeah. They do have a lot more depth to it. Unlike Marvel where it's just like...
But Marvel's got, like, the better superhero teams and a lot of the better
superpowers too, yeah. No, you were talking about Watchmen and stuff, like... because that's a graphic novel. This isn't a graphic novel. Well, I guess it is.
I lump them all in the same kind of thing. They're all the same kind of art.
If you've ever, there's a movie that's on the works, so we're keep an eye out on this one. It's based on Stephen King's Dark Tower series.
Oh, that one's cool.
That book series, those 13 books.
Love that post-apocalyptic shit.
Read that because so I'm glad that he gave me the free range because this will be my end all be all right here. This is my end all be all. The gunslinger world is the best of all. It's post-apocalyptic spaghetti western magic. Dun 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 dun! Everything. It's so cool. Like the main guy has a 6-shooter and like he'll cast spells on his bullets and shit. It's so cool.
That's why I like bringing back to Afro Samurai. That's why I like those kind of settings, because you can get pretty much anything. Like you'll get a gunslinger guy, or you'll get a robot fucking cyborg man killer thing, or you get fucking samurais or something. You get all kinds of shit. That's why I like that setting in particular.
Yeah, when he mentioned that, I popped into Dark Tower. Read those series. It starts with the Gunslingers, the first one. The second one's actually called Dark Tower, and then the rest of them are like different things. But read them, dude. Those are the best 500 pages I'll ever fucking read. Because I'm telling you, man, the concept that Stephen King came up with, for being a master of horror, that concept of like spaghetti western, post-apocalyptic magic shootouts was the best thing I'd ever written. I was like, what?
Yeah, like once I heard that movie was going to be put in the works, I was super excited.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little nervous, but most of Stephen King's movies have come out to be pretty good and accurate. So
And it's a good thing we're getting it in nowadays, because if we got it like back like a few years ago, it'd be just garbage.
It would be. These books are classics. He wrote them in the 80s. So these are some of his original works, none of the new stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely look into that one, because fucking, oh my god, now that I'm thinking about it, that is dope.
Right?
I'm telling you, man. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Like, I'm telling you, like, he has a 6-shooter, he'll put magic bullets in and shit, and he'll cast spells and stuff. It's everything anybody wants. Like I said, I've recommended this series to a lot of people. Harry Potter fans, Quentin Tarantino fans.
For sure.
It'll touch everything, dude. This one's going to be the unifier.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess we're getting a little off topic. Like,
Sorry.
one of the worlds I would like to live in, well, I guess it's not very off topic. I'd like to live in a fucking Blade Runner, like, Earth, which is, like, I guess it would
cyberpunk?
Yeah, which essentially, like, Ghost in the Shell. Like, that's a horrifying future to me, but I would still like to live in that future.
Okay, so which one? If you had to make the choice, would you live in the Blade Runner universe or the Ghost in the Shell universe? Because they're almost damn near identical.
I would have to lean towards Ghost in the Shell, just so I don't get stuck being like a replicant with a 4-year lifespan. Like, because that would suck. Because I would definitely try to fight that, and then you got Harrison Ford coming to shoot you in the streets, and that's no fucking good.
Yes.
So I would lean more towards Ghost in the Shell, even though that's the more horrifying future, because like you're getting your memories hacked, or you're getting your body stolen and things like that. Like,
I guess
that's kind of scary, but at the same time, like, if you have like a really cool body prosthesis and you're like working for Section 9, then that would be pretty fucking dope.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess if I had to pick one, I guess I would lean more towards the Blade Runner, because maybe if I did end up being a replicant, I guess a 4-year lifespan doesn't really creep me out.
Yeah, you think you'd be at peace with that?
I don't know if I'd be at peace, but I think I would I would definitely...
You just accept it, like, I guess that's how it is?
Not accept it, but, like, do exactly what the soldier replicant did in the movie, which was try to fight it all the way through. That's what I would do, honestly. But, but then, again, if I pick this universe, it's like a 50. You're either a replicant or you're human. You're either Harrison Ford or you're not.
Well, no, Rachel didn't have a restriction on her lifespan.
That's true, that's true.
I forget, like, a while back they said Ridley Scott said that Deckard was a replicant. Yes. But he's old now, if you've seen the previews.
Yeah, so that kind of throws... He's old,
so that probably throws that out. That probably just retcons it and gets rid of that. Even though that would have been cool.
It would have been. Because here's the thing. If you've never watched Blade Runner, it really depends on what cut you watch. If you watch...
It does, and there's like 3 or 4 different cuts. I personally like director's cut. That's my favorite.
Because that's the one that gives you the impression that Harrison Ford's a replicant.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, come on. You always want to live on a cliffhanger. The reason I wouldn't do Ghost in the Shell, even though I'm a huge fan of Ghost in the Shell, it's too similar to this world.
Yeah.
I feel like we are going to basically head towards Ghost in the Shell, where corporations run everything and everybody's getting hacked and shit. I mean, it happens every day now. I mean, if you leave your phone in the wrong place, someone will fucking...
Get on the wrong Wi-Fi.
Yeah, dude. You're fucked, dude. I mean, it's a perfect example of where society's going. Ghost in the Shell is actually right now, especially with the times the way they are, with our technology dependency. Because if you look at people like Nicki Minaj, Kylie Jenner, Bruce Jenner, any of them, it's called plastic surgery, but that is technology. They're getting fake asses, fake lips. They're getting augmentations. So as the technology increases and the demand for LASIK becomes more, like, I don't want to wear glasses anymore, and it's happening. It's a very slippery slope. So I guess that's why I don't want to.
That's a little different than like a robotic eye implant as opposed to laser eye surgery.
But that's where it's going, because eventually, it's like those deaf people that get hearing aids, and then they can hear again, or blind people that do end up getting a corrective surgery and then a little implant that helps it keep regulate it, and then they can see again. And we're getting there, but because it's fueled by corporate greed, it's just one of those things where it's like, well, I'm looking at it right now, Akira,
Yeah.
Would you live in Akira's world?
Fuck. That's, to me, that, other than like the robot stuff, that still kind of falls along like the line of like Blade Runner society.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
and it would still be the same thing. I would be cool with that. Like, it'd be like living in a big city, I guess. Like, and there's all the potential like of cool shit to do. Like, you could be a biker gang rolling around and fucking fighting, and I guess it's not like potential, like good potential, but I'm thinking more potential for fun, like, because that's like the whole thing. Like, you want to get out of like the normal shit that you would do in this universe and like go.
Well, if you want potential for fun, I mean, for like a good anime universe for potential for fun would probably be wow, why do I always blank every time I think of something? I feel like such a stoner, and I quit.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think a fun one would be actually the Pokemon that you started with. That would be fun. Yeah. Just because it's kind of like cuddly and cute.
Little romp through the wilderness. You're like always going hiking.
You're just like,
yeah, you're always having fun. You're always chilling with your pet. Like that would just be a nice chill universe to live in.
Let's see. I think what's it called? Cowboy Bebop. In that universe, I think that one was just because you could just go to like a space bar on an asteroid,
Yeah. Actually, in my like top like number one universe to live into, it's kind of like Cowboy Bebop. It is Outlaw Star. Like that universe.
I have seen that one.
It's kind of the same concept, like wandering space, like with like your buddies, but like you're an outlaw, which means you're like, you get this cool air about you. You're fighting space pirates constantly. You got like a cool grappler ship with like, it's a giant spaceship with like these cool battle arms, and it's got like axes and stuff and guns, and you can fly, and you're flying through space fighting with those things. And it brings it back to spaghetti westerns. You can go back to planets. There's a lot of like showdowns there. There's bounty hunters. There's all kinds of fun stuff, all kinds of cool stuff you can do. And there's like, and not even just that, like there's aside from like the weapons and the space battling, like the space pirates, they do fucking magic, because they have like this.
He said the space pirates, they do magic.
Yeah, they have this key magic that's called Tau, and they can do all kinds of fucking shit. They can shoot like blasts, and like the main character has a gun called a caster gun, which is basically a gun that shoots Tau magic. And he can shoot like there's this one and there's limited number of shells because they're like these ancient weapons from a long time ago, and he's got like one of the few of them, and the shells are hard to find. And one of the shells he gets, it shoots like this little black hole, and it just like bubbles right next to this guy and just sucks him in and like pulls his guts and shit out and just sucks him in this tiny black hole. And another one's like this big like fiery blue dragon looking thing that he shoots. All the bullets do different things because they're numbered. And yeah, it's a really cool show. And like there's a lot of funny shit in that show as well. Like there's a planet that's an entire hot spring planet that everybody goes on vacation. There's like a giant casino world.
Shaman King. Did you ever watch that one? That
Dude,
was a
Shaman King was dope. I remember watching
King.
that when I was a kid on fucking
Fox.
Kids.
Kids, Fox. Yeah, okay. That would live in that one, because that's actually not like how Saul was talking about Soul Eater. That one does take that concept completely, where you can fuse things into weapons.
Yeah. Because he can borrow that. I forget what that guy's name is, but he can borrow that guy's like power, and he's got that wooden sword and shit.
Yeah. So in Shaman King, you get like a spirit guardian, and they choose you. You don't choose your spirit guardian; it chooses you.
Fun game too. They had for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh yeah, and on that one, there's different levels of spirit training. So there's the basic one where you, where he just like is your guardian. Then there's one where you absorb it and you gain his abilities. And then there's one where you can grab that spirit and fuse it into your weapon of choice. And the thing is, your weapon of choice can be anything. that you technically want. So like for me, as you can see, I like Jimi Hendrix. I would pick a white Fender Strat, dude. My spirit would be in that white Fender Strat, and every time I hit the chords, just shots of energy comes out.
If I was in that world, I'd pick something weird for my weapon,
like
a yo-yo,
you could be like
a rubber chicken.
If you picked a yo-yo, you'd be like Ness.
Yeah, or there's this chick in this game called Air Guys, and she's like a cop that fights with a fucking yo-yo. Which is a cool game, by the way. It's got fucking Sephiroth, Tifa, Yuffie, and fucking Cloud in it as characters. And it's like a fucking 3D brawler for the PS1. It's called Air Guys, and apparently me and like my other friend are the only people who ever heard of it.
There's a bunch of games that are like that. Like what was the one that I was telling you about?
Xeno Chronicles or Xenoblade?
Xenoblade, the one where it's like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, for PS2.
Yeah.
That was a fun RPG.
Yeah, that one's a good turn-based RPG.
Yeah, because you get giant robots and like other classic RPG elements.
Yeah,
which is cool.
it's exact. If you've never played that one, Xenoblade, it's like Final Fantasy with the turn-based RPG style thing, but with robots.
Yeah, you get giant robots as well.
Everything with giant robots will always be number one in my book.
Dude, I was talking about on the last podcast. I am addicted to
giant robots.
Ever since I was a kid, that's just something I really
just like
dig.
long, hard metal shafts for some reason. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'll just speak for myself.
Just giant robots that destroy monsters or
For
have
sure.
giant guns. Like, have you ever seen a show called Pat Labor? That's a universe that'd be cool to live in if you were a cop.
Have you seen Ruby?
No, I've seen previews for it.
Okay,
Isn't that like a crowdfunded anime? Like,
I don't know how.
because I know it's a CGI one.
It's a CGI type anime.
And I'm against those morally, but
it's really good though.
yeah.
It's a CGI type anime, but it's really good just because of the ridiculous nature of the characters. Like you have a little Red Riding Hood who has a giant scythe that has a bazooka attachment to it. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
And then you have my favorite character is Yellow. She has gauntlets. She has gauntlets on her legs and her arms that have shotgun shells inside of them. So every time she punches you, you get a blast of a shotgun shell, and it is so dude.
That's cool. That's like Big O. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's giant robots again, but like this dude has a giant robot, and he's like Batman, but he's got a giant robot, and his fists are giant pistons. So when he punches people, his fists go. So he punches them, and then. It's so badass. Dude.
That's exactly how Ruby is. Every time she does things, it's so cool because it goes. So the recoil is her cocking back her punch.
That's
it is
cool.
Yeah, dude. I was like,
I might check it out.
I'm like,
because I am against CG anime, but I'll.
I didn't like it. You know who showed me? Munch.
Really?
Yeah, Munch showed me Ruby.
I gotta get him on here too. I can talk about some Digimon. Because he's like the Digimon
the
master.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our friend Munch.
And talk about making Gundams. Like,
And he does
he's
this, yeah.
literally the master of making
our
Gundams.
friend, he's such a hardcore Digimon. He's got a Digivice tattooed to his thing. So, I mean, like, if we could build up his legend right now, yes.
I just feel like people talk about Pokemon too much, and then when they talk about Digimon, it's usually ironically. So I'm like, fuck that.
Well,
Let's
it's
get some
crazy.
people who legit like are down for that shit. Because I dig Digimon more than I like Pokemon as a show.
I do too. The thing that pissed me off about Digimon is just that they couldn't keep up the writing to do what Pokemon has done, which has gone on to 1,000+ episodes.
Well, that's because they actually did writing in Digimon. Like a lot of the storylines and a lot of the stuff that happens is pretty good and pretty deep, as opposed to like where it's just like, oh, I'm Ash and I need to get the fucking gym badge. Which is every season like, oh, I got a couple new friends and I need these gym badges.
I mean, in Digimon when they had to do their last evolution, when Gabumon and Agumon had to, they had to sacrifice. I remember it had to. The two angels had to shoot. Who is it? Tai and
fuck, I forget the other kid's name.
Yeah, we always it's Tai and
but if I have to give it a
Matt.
I will. Matt. All right, good.
Tai and Matt. They had to shoot I remember the two. This is a complicated story. You had siblings, and then you had like an intertwined story, and like it's so crazy. But like when they had to do that last evolution, when you want to talk about good story writing, even for little kids, I understood this. It was insane. The two littlest siblings had to command their Digimon to shoot arrows to their two oldest brothers and kill them to cause such an emotional trauma for their Digimon to evolve into Metal Greymon and Metal Garurumon. That's badass storytelling. Unlike what he just said, where it's like, my name's Ash and I'm gonna be the best that ever was.
Yeah. But that's also why Digimon would be terrifying if you weren't like in the Digi-Destined, because you're just some dude walking around and then like this fucking hole in space and time just rips open and you got fucking this giant devil man monster like just wrecking shit, or you got like these fucking dinosaur creatures just showing up out of nowhere and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, that would be basically on almost any world, but can you imagine if like one of these anime guys popped into an our world? They would just freak out,
or they would just be hilarious because like just acting like an anime character in the real world, like fuck dude.
They fall back every time they laugh.
Although if like, you know how in Family Guy Peter wishes for like theme music, yeah, like, I would wish for the power of anime emotions like that, like where they get like they like sigh and that mushroom comes out, or they get the angry vein, or they like fall.
See,
like,
that's why
I would want some shit like that. That would be a cool like random wish power to have.
Yeah, that's why living in an anime world would be cool. Let's talk about that. I mean, like, does we literally would get real time emojis.
Right.
That would be like if I'm embarrassed, my whole face would turn blue and all droopy, and I'm like, oh, you know, like. I mean, that'd be
right,
so
if you're feeling sad, then the big like water droplets under your eyes and stuff. And
if my I don't have a girlfriend, but if I had one and she was and she was yelling at me, her head would turn all big.
And you're just like,
I'd just be like, please don't hurt me. And I mean, that's what makes animes great. Is just they will make anything so serious turn into fun, not funny, but relaxed. You know, like a relaxed type atmosphere.
Yeah, but I don't know. So far, all what we really picked were like not even like fun animes. A lot of it was pretty serious.
Yeah, we're kind of fucked. I don't know.
Pokemon was the only one that we were like, yeah, that one would be fun.
But I guess that's kind of the thing though. Like, that's what it's fun though. That's what being human is though. Like, having adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like, going out with your friends. I mean, like when you go out with your friends, it's an adventure. You know, you're doing things. You don't know what's really gonna happen. Technically anything can happen. But I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the world we picked. Is that because if we picked a safe and cuddly world, there isn't always gonna be that a reason or a drive for us to go be in that world or get involved in that world. You know, but if you pick the most extreme worlds, like a Desert Punk, or a Gunslinger, or a Ghost in the Shell,
or Attack on Titan,
where you have no choice but to be great. I mean, why not? Because everybody wants to be a hero.
That is true. And like in a world like Attack on Titan, you'd have more of a drive because you're like, fuck, I gotta join these. I gotta join these homies because we gotta stop these big ass fuckers from eating us.
It's like, did your house get stomped on? Yeah, mine did too. Fuck.
So I guess there would be a plus side of those really like extreme, like arduous worlds that you would pick.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that I never or like Digimon and Pokemon, like, because those are the two cuddliest worlds we picked. Yeah. Like the Digi-Destined, they are destined to do these great things. Yeah. But like a Pokemon, it's like, if Ash just wasn't a cocky little fuck, I mean, you wouldn't have Pokemon. Yeah. Because that's all it is, really. I mean, like, the first episode is just him literally going, bye, Mom, I'm going to talk to Dr. Oak. And then he never goes home. Never goes back home.
Right. Just wanders.
Just wanders around, meets some random redhead.
I dig shit like that. Like, that's why I pick, like, a lot of the worlds I pick, like Outlaw Star, that's wandering space. Like, any, like, Desert Punk or Afro Samurai, that's wandering a wasteland, like a fucking apocalyptic wasteland.
I guess I like the worlds where the adventure is almost forced upon me, like a samurai, like a Samurai Champloo. If you've never seen that one, it's the best 13 or
no, it's 25. It's
25.
Full,
It's a full. It's the best 25 episodes I've ever seen because it's a very simple concept. A young lady wants revenge on a samurai, and she hires two of the best. She doesn't know they're the best, but she hires two of the best, and they go on adventures. That's the kind of world where I want to live in, where because of my natural knack of adventuring, I took on a mission greater than myself.
For sure.
You know,
I don't know. I wouldn't pick that just because I'm I'm just trying to stray away from like a period piece, because yeah, I'd be like, oh, then basically she's like, I just want to time travel back to like ancient Japan, which would be dope, because I would want to do that.
You're right. That's
some
true.
animes that are
that isn't a universe. That's
like a
that
ninja
is
scroll,
timepiece.
like a ninja scroll universe.
Oh,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because it's still like pretty realistic and pretty arduous, because you got like all kinds of crazy ass like ninjas and like people with strange powers, and or like corrupt military things and things like that. Like you got all that to deal with, and you can be a wandering fucking swordsman doing bounty hunter jobs or things like that. That would be a cool universe to live in.
Yeah.
And I'm a total, like, aside from giant robots, I love like anything like samurai or ancient Japan, like anything like that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am with my spaghetti. Like I love my spaghetti westerns.
Yes.
Like I have to have that. Like that's why I love Trigun, because it has that gunslinger mentality. It has that, you know, like shoot 'em up, shootouts and stuff. And Ruby, the shootouts. Mm-hmm. It has mixed martial arts and the shootouts. That's cool. That's what's good about it. So, but I don't know. I think we covered this one.
Yeah, we talked about that one for a bit. But yeah, I don't know. We ramble on this show because it
has to. That's all right though.
Will our heroes be able to continue on their current conversation, or will they go on the path of rambling? Is the never-ending war against the dogs howling still gonna continue? Will our heroes be able to stay on topic, or will they ramble on talking about incessant bullshit? We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.